So let's get started. Today, we're going to solve some interesting questions from predictive. And these questions are from scope management, schedule management, and cost management. So let's get started with the discussion. So we know the procedure, how we do this. First, I will show you the questions, and then you can solve the questions and let me know your answer in the chat. Try to solve all the questions within 76 seconds. Why? Because we need to maintain the space to solve 180 questions in 230 minutes in the actual exam. All right. Okay. Let's get started. This is your first question. So C is the right answer. Very good. Because that's the only thing which is not a rule uh, to create the WBS. All right. And see my explanation and confirm whether you also eliminated the other options for the same reasons, which I'm going to share with you. Siddharth is leading an aircraft development project using a predictive development approach. He and his team members are currently engaged in decomposing the project scope. Which of the following is not true about WBS creation? So decomposing a project scope will produce as the WBS. Okay. And one more important thing about this question is, in case if you have very less time in the exam and if you have a lot of questions to solve, all right, you can read the last sentence in the question. This should be used only if you do not have enough time. All right. This should be our last option. In case if you have less time in the exam and you have some 15 questions to answer, you may not be able to read the complete question. So you can read the last portion of the question, part of the question, and if it makes sense, you can answer the question. So this is that type of question. You see here, this last piece of the last line is enough to answer this question. Which of the following is not true about WBS? Okay, so you can choose see this pay this keyword, pay attention to this keyword not, and when you see not type question, you know what to do. You have to first find out the valid options and then find the odd man out. So this is the best way to avoid making mistakes. So we get confused. So when you directly try to go and find the odd man out, what we do, we tend to pick the wrong option. Okay, so eliminate all the valid options and then find all the valid options. That is options which are relevant to WBS creation, and then you find the odd man out. Option 8 is necessary for the total work at lowest level to roll up to higher levels, ensuring that nothing is left out and no extra work is performed. Correct. So this is called as 100% rule. If you take a WBS, these are the work packages. We have 6 work packages. Now, if you complete all the 6 work packages, you should be able to say we are done with the total project scope, because this is a 100% rule. If you, let's say this is 10% of the total work, this is 30% of the total work, this is another 20% of the total work, another 10% of the total work. So this is 50, 60, 70. So 70, 20, 10%. Now if you add them up, you get 100 on the top. So here we have 10. So 10 plus 30, 40% here. 10 plus 10, 30% here. Then 30% here. Now, if you add up these three numbers, you get 100%. So this is called as 100% rule. Now, if you have 100% of work here, but you only find 90% work at the bottom, we have missed some work while doing decomposition. So this should be avoided, okay? So this is a valid thing we need to do while creating WBS. The WBS can develop using both top-down and bottom-up approaches. Good that you guys didn't pick this option, because both will be done. Sometimes we will know a work at the bottom level, and then we club them together and go to the top and map them to their respective control accounts. This is also possible approach. So you can use this as well for the WBS creation. Number of levels of decomposition below every major deliverable should be the same. This is not the rule. All right. This is not the rule. Yes, Nitin, please.
Yeah, hey, I'm Ahmed. Yeah, so I was a bit confused between B and C, but my reason to choose B C was it is definitely not the right.
Definitely not. Yes, that's a good strategy. Okay,
Yeah,
very good. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the only. But I was not aware that we could use B for
yeah,
WPS.
yeah. If you read the PMBOK guide, you will find this kind of critical information about things. That's why we need to read the PMBOK guide at least
Okay,
once. Okay, PMBOK
okay,
7,
all
6,
right.
6, not PMBOK 7. Okay, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
very good. And so this is not really needed. Okay, for this means, for example, a WBS should be like this. What if I want to decompose this further? Now, if you see below this item, there's no equal number of levels of decomposition. In this branch, we have two levels. In this branch, we have only one level. So this is not a mandate. You can even decompose this into 10 more levels. Nobody can question you, right? So we use expert judgment to decide on this. So this is not a really a rule we need to follow to create the WBS while creating the WBS. And experienced team members are required to develop WBS. Definitely yes, because decomposition is based on expert judgment. Whether to split the work or not, it's based on expert judgment. So if you do not have experienced team members involved in the WBS creation, then we won't be able to properly decompose. Also, we may not know whether we have the right level, the decomposition is the right level. For example, sometimes people try to do too much of decomposition. Sometimes people will do too less decomposition. Both must be avoided. So the because the not type question, we're going to eliminate these options and then we go with the odd man out. Therefore, the correct option is answer option C. Clear? Good. Yes, Abhyumi, please.
Thank you, sir.
You're
I
welcome.
know that definitely C is a wrong option, but
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to take a second look at option D.
D.
There are no option D now.
Hmm.
There are instances that I know we are actually dealing with predictive tonight, but there are
Yeah, tonight. Yeah.
instances that maybe some less, predictive is more common to construction work. There are
Hmm.
instances that probably some tasks at hand, it's not something that is so common or that probably team members might have experienced, though they might apply principles they have learned in other projects and the likes. So I just want you to revisit that option D, just to explain further. Though C is definitely wrong, I just want you to explain more on option D in case we have situations like that, sir.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Good question. So here we have experienced team members, not an experienced team. All right. So when you are developing the WBS, you don't have to have the whole team to work on WBS creation. As a matter of fact, you won't have the whole team. Why? Because here we are doing initiation and here we are doing planning. Then we do execution, closure. So WBS creation will happen during this time. And you, let's say you are doing a construction project, you need 100 team members to work in your project, assuming it's a very big construction project. Do you think all the 100 team members will be here? Let's say planning is going on for a month, 1 month duration. What will you do with 100 people? They won't be working. So you need the whole team to be in place once we start the execution. So here you will have handful of people, team members, who are critical for helping you to prepare the plan. That's all. So experienced team members getting involved doesn't mean that the whole team should be there. You understand?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All good. Fine. Shall we proceed? Yes, Srikant.
Yes, sir. Can the project sponsor be involved in this WPS also?
Of course. It's may or may not. So we cannot say the sponsor should not involve. The sponsor will be there. So it's a teamwork. So it's not only about the team members. Stakeholders like the sponsor, your business analyst, PO, team leaders, they all will involve. See,
So, if I say, for example, as a team member, I will say one way, and as a sponsor, I will be saying other way. So, at last, what will be the thing? Which way will be taking care in WBS?
well, that depends on what kind of decision we need to make. Sometimes we need to go for consensus driven. We go for voting. Sometimes we need to use expert judgment to make the decision, right? We ask the sponsor who has authority to make the decision, or we ask the subject matter experts to make the decision. Sometimes we make the decision based on data. We use multi-criteria decision analysis. So it depends on what decision we have to make. Okay, the nature of the decision. Clear?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, now let's solve the second question. Voting, voting is consensus driven. Data driven is fact based. Okay. Okay, here's the next question. Let me zoom in this question. I hope you are able to see the question. Please solve the question. Let me know in the answer in the chat. Please don't see the chat what others are coming up with. You just finalize your answer, put it in the chat. Don't change it, and you can see the explanation, my explanation. Then you can do the calibration. Right. So you should come up with your own answer. Don't change it for others' opinion. All right. It's okay to make mistake. So here we are working on early feedback. That's all. You make mistake, you learn about why you did that mistake, and then you don't, so that you can avoid the same mistake in the future, especially in the actual exam. All right. Shall we solve the question? Yes. Okay, great. Let's do it. There's a tricky question, and there's something, something new to learn from this question. As the project kickoff meeting approaches, key stakeholder requests the addition of major scope to the scope statement. Now, whenever you see these kind of events, standard project events, you have to be cautious, because it will help you to understand the in which stage of the project you are in. All right. Like project closure, project initiation, the sponsor has approved the project charter, you're identifying the stakeholders. These things are helpful in understanding where are we at present. That's so important, especially if you want to solve questions from predictive. That too, questions from change management. You have to first identify, are we in execution or in planning? That's the first thing you have to do. Clear? Before we begin the execution, there's no need to go for what? Change management process. Okay. Because only after we, very good. Only after we freeze the plan, create the baselines. If you want to make changes to the plan, then we have to follow change management procedure. As the project kickoff meeting approaches, we didn't conduct the kickoff meeting. So this project, if you see the project scope statement, this is only used in predictive. So with that, you can understand. This question is from predictive. Now you need to first visualize the various stages of predictive life cycle. Now, kickoff meeting is the one that is conducted as the first event inside execution. So this is the first event, okay? We conduct the kickoff meeting as a first event inside the execution and then begin the project. So this is also one of the reasons why we need to read this book, PMBOK Guide, PMBOK 7th edition. Now, we are approaching the kickoff meeting. Therefore, we are getting prepared. And this means we are still in planning. Now, during planning stage, we prepare all the plan documents, project subsidiary management plans, the project management plan, baselines, and so on. The scope exclusion section inside the project scope statement, all right, should be updated based on the stakeholder request. And you also find the request valid. Now you want to do some scope addition. You're going to add some scope to the existing project scope, and you find it very valid. Now, why you don't have to follow change management procedure? Because we had to baseline the plan. Let me finish the explanation, then you can, so that there will be a flow, and then I will answer all of your questions. Okay? Yeah. So, scope statement, project scope statement is the component of the scope baseline. Project scope statement, WBS and WBS dictionary put together from the project scope baseline. So if you want to modify the scope baseline after it is approved, and this means the baseline is set and you have started the execution, you must follow change management process. But now you don't have to, all right? So until we start the execution, conduct the project kickoff meeting and start the execution, we don't have to follow change management process, because throughout the planning stage, we will do so many things to existing documents. So you can eliminate option B. Okay. Second one is, if you see option C, some of you selected this option. Well, you can eliminate this. Reason is, before we conduct the project kickoff meeting, we review all the plan documents with the sponsor and the key stakeholders, and the baselining process will be done. Imagine it, you are working on preparing the project plan. You will do so many things per day. You will add a lot of risk to the risk register. You will decompose the WBS further and add new items. You might collect some new requirements and add it to the requirements document. To optimize the schedule, you will do some resource changes, allocation changes. So you would be doing so many things. Because of you identified a new risk, you would have added more contingent reserve. You cannot keep on informing all these things to the sponsor. That is not needed during planning. During execution, yes. During execution, whenever there's a change comes in, you must tell the sponsor first, and then raise a change request and do the implementation. So because you are in the process of preparing the project plan, anyway, we'll present everything to the sponsor, seek the sponsor's approval. Only then we will be able to baseline the plan. So it's not needed at the moment. You can eliminate this option. Modify the project management plan is not needed, because if you see the project scope statement, you're going to add more scope. So it's a direct component of the project scope statement. You can just go and add it. Okay. So therefore, the right answer is option A, and you can eliminate the other three options. Okay. Now here we have the third question. Okay, let's solve this question. In the midst of a project, you have identified new project risks and developed risk responses to mitigate them. So you're in the middle of the project. To address these risks, newly identified risks, you have raised a change request requesting additional contingency reserve. The change request was approved and the extra funds were added to the cost baseline. Okay. What will happen to the project budget? To solve this question, you should understand the anatomy of the project budget. Very good. Abhishek, project budget is equal to cost baseline plus contingency reserve. Fantastic. Would you like to explain the answer? Why option C is correct? Yeah, please.
Yeah. So when we draw out the project budget, I think
I will do
first
that
we
for you.
draw out the cost. Yeah, first. Okay. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, loud and clear.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ahmed, for confirming.
Yeah.
So the first we have the cost baseline, and then on top of it there is a management reserves kept and on total that's the project budget. So project manager works with the cost baseline, which he has brought it and got it approval. For any kind of change on or get that additional budget, the CR process, which is mentioned in the cost question, CR process is taken up, and then based on approval, that management reserves portion of management reserves is added.
Very good. Very good. So fantastic. You can appreciate Abhishek for this. So the thing is, the project budget is the summation of management reserve and the cost baseline. So if you take the situation, you have the management reserve here, and this is your cost baseline. And inside the cost baseline is made of two components. That is, work package cost, money needed to complete the planned work, plus the contingency reserve required to manage that inferred risk. So put together, if you combine these two numbers, you get the cost baseline. Okay. On top of this, we have the management reserve. This is meant for unplanned in scope work. Now we have unplanned in scope work. We have identified new project risk and we need to manage them. So this is not initially part of the scope, agreed work, but now we need to do it. So it's a valid work. So it was not part of the plan. So unplanned in scope work. If you want to manage unplanned in scope work, we have to use the management reserve. Now management reserve and cost baseline put together form the project budget. Now if you move some funds from the management reserve and add it to the cost of contingency reserve, the cost baseline will increase. You see here, something like this will happen. So the management reserve will become thinner and the cost baseline will get bigger. But if the net effect, if you see the total, the project budget remains the same. Are you clear? Yes, no, maybe? Because whatever money moved from management reserve has been added to the cost baseline. So the project budget is intact now. There's no change in the project budget. Are you clear? So, and that's the reason we go with option C. The project budget will remain unchanged. Good? Yes. Any question, please ask me. We'll keep the Q&A quick and solve one more question. Yeah, please.
Okay, sir. A very quick one. I agree totally with C, and I was going to choose C, but deliberately I chose D to ask you a question, sir. What in a situation whereby even the management reserve cannot mitigate the risk? Because I understand what he explained and what you have explained. In a situation whereby the management reserve, when it is added even to the cost baseline, cannot solve the problem. So that's why I chose D.
Okay, so we need to always assume the stable, the standard, the default conditions. All right. If you have to think from some unique situation point of view, for example, we don't have enough funds in the management reserve. We already depleted all the money we had in the management reserve. What would we do, and so on. So no such thing as we mentioned in the question. So if nothing special mentioned in the question, we need to treat it as a default situation. You're going to have enough money in your management reserve and you're going to use it to manage the newly identified risk. That's all. Clear?
Clear. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yes, Ravish, please.
Sorry, just quick question. So we are dealing here with unknown or known unknown?
So the newly identified risks are unknown during the planning. Now we discovered them.
So this is a issue then, not a risk. Because if we are taking fund from the management risk, then we are considering it as a risk. And if we are taking, from the contingency, then like we'll call it as risk, right?
Yeah. Now, when it comes to management reserve, the right way to explain for what reason we have the management reserve, the answer is unplanned in scope work. Okay. Unplanned in scope work. So this could be issue workarounds, risk responses to be implemented for newly identified risks, changes to the scope done by the client, modification or addition of requirements. All these things come under unplanned in scope work. Okay.
Okay.
So when we were doing planning, we were not aware of them. Now we must do. So the right way to say the money in management reserve is meant for what? It is meant for unplanned in scope work. Clear? Yeah. Okay. Good. So shall we solve the next question? Abhyumi, if you do not have any question, you can drop your hand. Right. So let me zoom in. This question is from estimation technique. Please solve this question and let me know your answer in the chat. Is it big enough?
Is it having an extra zero pessimistic value?
No, no.
No? Okay.
But good that you noticed that. That is the clue to solve this question. Okay.
Sorry, I missed that. What did he notice?
So he asked whether do we have any extra zero here?
Oh, okay.
Nice finding. Okay, let's solve this question. Answer C is the correct answer. All of you chose the right answer. Now I want one of you to give me the reason to eliminate option D. I know you guys would have easily eliminated option A and B, but can you tell me a reason why, on what basis you eliminated option D?
Triangular,
for
I'm
it.
not aware of it actually. Sorry. So I knew this analogous bottom up and apart, and the immediate answer that which I have chosen after seeing this optimistic and pessimistic and most likely. So that in part we have basically two, like weighted average and the simple average something. So on that basis, I have decided just to
This is
select.
weighted average. This is weighted average.
This is weighted average. Yeah.
This is simple average. Okay, both are 3-point estimation techniques only.
3-pointers, so yeah.
Yeah. So why you chose C, but why you ignored eliminated
There is
D?
a huge difference between the most likely and the pessimistic value.
Very
which
good.
is
Very
causal.
good. Yeah. So what will happen if we go with the simple average? The value will go somewhere in the middle of the band, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And it will make the estimate unrealistic. So remember, if you're having a situation like this, for example, in this case, okay, let's read the question. The team is estimating the cost for an activity that has never been performed by the organization. So there won't be any historical data, isn't it? So that way you can eliminate these two options, this one, because to perform analogous estimation, we must have historical data. So we can eliminate this. Now, seeing optimistic value, pessimistic value, and most likely value, there's no need to apply bottom up as well. So you can eliminate that also. So you're left out with C and D. Both are 3-point estimation. In both, we use optimistic value, pessimistic value, and most likely value. But when to use triangular, also called as simple or 3-point, simple or triangular, or beta estimation, that is also called as which is also called as weighted average and PERT. Okay. Now, when it comes to this numbers, so if you take the optimistic value, so that's around about $1,200. Okay. If you take the most likely value, let's take the pessimistic value. So this is 28,000, right, dollars, and most likely value, it's 5,000. It's very close to the optimistic value. So this is the optimistic value. This is optimistic value. This is most likely value. This is pessimistic value. Now, if you have a situation like this, if you just go for 3-point estimation, you will get a number somewhere in the middle of the band. Okay, maybe you will get like 14,000 or something. which is not good. The reason is the chances of the optimistic case and pessimistic case would be very less. The possibility of occurrence of optimistic and pessimistic. So maybe the chance for you, facing the optimistic case would be less than 10, and pessimistic case would be also somewhere around 10. 80% of times we would get a number close to most likely value. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to increase the weightage of the most likely value, and thus we go with PERT, right? Otherwise called as weighted average. So what we do, we put 1 time of optimistic value, 4 times of most likely value, and 1 time of pessimistic value, and divide that by 6. When you do this, you are trying to bring a number which is coming close to the most likely value. So you will pull this number getting closer to the most likely value. So whenever you have this kind of the optimistic value and pessimistic value are very far from each other, and the most likely value is either close to the optimistic value or pessimistic value, please go for PERT. So therefore, you can eliminate this option and go with this option. I hope you are clear why option C is correct. Are you clear? Yes. If you see a very big range, go for PERT. Yes, Jayaprakash, please.
So quick question. So instead of
Yeah.
$28,000, if there's if there's a value of like $7,000, so which one we actually choose, like simple average or like a weighted average?
It's can you please repeat the number? 7,000. You can
Yeah,
go for
$7,000.
a simple average. Simple average is good. Yeah, it's good enough,
Okay.
because if the number is 7,000, whether you apply PERT or simple average, you pretty much get the number very
Same
close
value.
numbers.
Correct.
Same
value
values.
only. Yes,
It-
similar level.
Most likely they will be very close to each other, so no big deal. But here, if with this number sets you try later, you will see with simple average and weighted average, you see that whatever numbers you're going to get, fine numbers, you will see a huge difference between them. Okay.
Okay. In that case also, if these two options are there, then we choose simple average only, right?
Yeah.
Like if the instead of $28,000, if it is a $7,000, then again PERT is there, and like also the triangular distribution is there. We go for triangular distribution, right?
We go for triangular. Yes. No need to apply PERT. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Always this 3-point estimation technique question will come based on PERT only. Remember this. If you don't know what to do, choose PERT. Okay, in the exam. Clear? So in the course, in the Udemy course, I've explained this very well. So you can go and check this PERT explanation lecture. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Now let's see solve this question. New project manager leading a mining project faces a schedule delay due to unexpected machine down. To address this situation, Neo has utilized the fast tracking technique. So fast tracking will help us to compress the schedule. Okay. On 2 activities with the finish to start relationship to compress the schedule. Okay. Additionally, he has assigned his best team members to work on these activities. What could be the possible justification for assigning his best team members to these activities? Well, if you apply fast tracking, we have a risk of rework. Do you agree with me? Because if you take fast tracking, you have 2 activities like this. So we have to finish this activity to start this activity. Now, when it comes to fast tracking, we advance the start date of this is the predecessor, this is the successor. We advance the start date of the successor with respect to end date of the predecessor. When we do that, we create overlap. So the amount of overlap you create, that much amount of schedule compression can be achieved. However, this comes with the risk of rework, because this is the successor. Even before fully completing the predecessor, we are starting its successor. So we have to be very careful. It's like you are, writing a software, and after the software is done, you need to debug the software, right? So instead of this, you're writing the software concurrently, you are debugging the software. So we have the risk of rework. We might not debug the software well. So if you or if you're whenever you apply fast tracking to compress a schedule, you have to be, very concerned about preventing the risk of rework. There are chances, okay, and therefore option A is the correct answer. So Neo doesn't want to experience further delays due to quality issues. If you have the risk of rework, let's say people did the work incorrectly, this person again has to redo the work, because here the original plan is to complete this work and then begin this work. So here there is no risk of rework. But because in this case, after applying fast tracking, you are starting the successor even before the predecessor is fully done. So work is happening hand to hand. You have to be very careful. There's a lot of risk of rework. So apply your best people, assign your best people to these kind of tasks, so that you will be able to mitigate or overcome the risk of rework. Effective utilization of resources can be eliminated because utilization means plan versus availability. I have Bob available with me. He can work for 8 hours per day. Am I utilizing him for 8 hours per day? That is about utilization. Here, the question is not based on availability versus utilization. So you can eliminate this option. Next one, Neo has several generalizing specialists in his team. This is not relevant, so you can eliminate this. Generalizing specialist is a person who can do both many type of work. Okay, they are useful in addressing bottlenecks, but not the concern. Uh, the solution what Neo has taken to compress the schedule, and his concerns are not relevant to neither to concern are not related to uh, generalizing specialist or bottleneck, addressing the bottleneck. The best team members can complete the work at a faster pace. No, this is not the real reason behind assigning best people to work on tasks which are under fast tracking. I hope you are clear why answer A is right. Good, fine. Is everything okay? Are you clear why answer A is right? Yeah. So read the PMBOK guide. Only then you will be able to answer this kind of question. There are many, more than half a dozen of book available in the market for PMB exam preparation. You do whatever you like. You can read them, but at least read the PMBOK 6 once. Only then you will get this kind of special information, like it's okay to do bottom up. You can add work packages and add them and go to the top. 100 percentage rule or principle while creating WPS, the risk of rework while doing fast tracking. So only then you will be able to answer this kind of questions. No, we won't be able to solve question number 6. I don't like to rush. Okay, I prefer quality over quantity. Anyways, this discussion will happen on every week. So we already 8 minutes over time. So we won't, we respect others' time as well. So we'll close the discussion now. Okay. Good.
Ahmed, yeah, we can close the discussion. Just I want to have a discussion, one-on-one discussion with you regarding an exam prep. If you are available today or tomorrow, whenever you are free, can we connect?
Tomorrow I'm available. Tomorrow afternoon, please call me. Ping me on, if you do not have my number, you can ping me on LinkedIn, message me, I will share my number. You can call me. Yeah.
Sure, Ahmed. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah.
So hi, sir, just please show us the question number 1 again.
We will keep it for the next session because these are.
Sir, question number 1.
One, okay. Because setting questions are difficult topic. Okay, I cannot use others' question. Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, this will happen 52 weeks this year, so you can join till you pass your exam. Okay. Yeah. All right. Great. So I hope you found today's discussion very helpful, and please go and refer to my Udemy course for the selected the topics which you feel you need more understanding. And I hope you all have the free course with you. Use it. You don't have to complete the entire course. If you wish, you can do. It will be good, but you can go and watch selected lectures to make you to understand certain concepts in depth. Okay. More sessions on YouTube. Yeah, there are 3 more sessions on YouTube. You can check them as well. Yeah. Yes. There are 3 more sections on YouTube. please check them. Okay, 3-4 weekly connect recordings are available. Okay, great. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for participating. Yes, Said.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Take care, guys. Next week, let's try to solve 6-7 questions. Okay. Yeah. Bye.